Hello, my Bethlehem cellos and basses. This is Mr. O'Connell. We're going to talk about note reading today. So remember, this is our staff, right? And the staff has 5 lines. And so we're going to talk about your clef. So you guys, the violin in the orchestra, the violins have the highest notes. The violas have the middle sounding notes. And the cellos and the basses, they kind of share the lowest pitches. The bass is usually an octave lower than the cellos. So, but the cellos and the bass players use the same clef, all right? And it's called the bass clef because bass means the low notes. And just so you know, the bass clef looks like that. It's also known as the F clef because see those 2 dots that I wrote? They actually surround the F line. So the 4th line of the staff is known as the F line, right? And one way, there's different ways to memorize the lines, but I like grizzly bears don't fool around. And then, so it's GBDFA. There's other ways to memorize it, whatever. I know the worksheet that I sent you also has a different way of memorizing it, and that's fine. I think it's good boys do fly airplanes or something like that. But I like grizzly bears don't fool around. So now the bottom line there is what? G, right? So what comes after G in the alphabet? Not the English alphabet, but the musical alphabet. It's G, and then after G comes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right? So the bottom G is G, and then so the next space above G is A, and then we have a B, right? And then C, D, E, F, G, and then an A. So if you take a look at that, G, A, B. So we start down here. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A. And this A actually, by the way, just so you know, this G down here is not the G on the open G for the basses or the 4th finger on the D string for the cellos. The G on the that's actually a low G. So for the cellos, that's your 3rd string open G. For basses, that's actually a really low note. That's on your 4th string, 2nd finger, 2 fingers down on the E string. So it's a really low note. Then we do open A for the bass players, or 1st finger on the 3rd string for the cellos. All right, B, C. But we start. This is where you get your open D. That's your open D. So D, F, G, right? That's your beginning of your D major scale. D, E, F, G, A, right? And then in order to go higher than A, right, we sit a note right on top of the staff for a B. And then to get to a C, I actually draw a ledger line, which is basically just like another line of the staff. So that's a 6th line, and we put a note on it. That's a C. And then to get higher than the C, we have a high D, right? We draw a ledger line again, and then we put a note on top of it. So that's a D. If we wanted to go higher than that, we would have to draw 2 ledger lines, all right? But we're going to stop right there. So that's those notes right there. And for the cellos, actually basses, you can listen to this for a sec. So if this is a G, right, that's your G. To go lower than the G, for the basses and the cellos, we have an F and an E, right? And in order to go to an E, I draw a line and I'll put a note right on it, right? So the line goes through. That's the lowest note for the bass players. That's your open E string. Just play your 4th string nice and loud. That's your open E. For cellos, you actually have 2 more notes. There's a low D, which is draw a ledger line and put a note under it. That's your low D. That's 1st finger on the cello, on the C string, 1st finger on the C string. And then the lowest note in the cello is 2 ledger lines beneath the staff, and that's an open C. So cellos have open C, 1, 3, 4. So that's C, D, E, and F, and then your open G. For basses, that's your lowest note, your lowest E, your open E string. Okay, so you go open, 1 is F, and then 2 is G for the E string. All right. I hope that makes sense. I sent you that PDF, so take a look at that and try to play some games on there too that you can do a little like making sentences with the notes. So I hope that makes sense. Enjoy it. And again, remember the lower the note head is on the staff, the deeper the sound, right? And by the way, look at this. That's a G, right? Low G. Stem goes up here. The stem goes down. It does not matter what direction the stem goes in. It doesn't change the note at all. All right, it doesn't matter the direction of the stem going up or down. All right, you can go either way. It just looks prettier if you have like a G here, right? It just doesn't look that pretty to have the stem going down because it's going to go way off the staff. So generally, if you're on a low note, the stem goes up. Okay, hope that makes sense. Good luck, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye now.